howling for you.
Hey everyone, thanks for joining us on WolfcastTV. I'm your host, Barrow, and we're going to talk about the Toronto Wolfpack as we always do. But I got to start by saying it's been a bit of a roller coaster of a week here. Very high emotions, especially with your Toronto Raptors. First place in the Eastern Conference as they head into the All-Star break. So best of luck to them the rest of the way. Go Raps, go. And I also had an opportunity to visit a different sport, but I'm not going to say anything about it now. I'm just going to tell you that you're going to have to stay tuned for our very next episode where I have two special guests, and I can't wait to get to that one as well. But on this one here, we're going to talk about the Toronto Wolfpack's draw with the Barrow Raiders. It was an 8-8 tie, and not that it was disappointing at all. I mean, both teams put in an incredible effort, and the conditions were quite horrible. Very muddy field there for those that saw the game. But there was, I don't know, kind of left a bit of an empty taste in your mouth. I'm not sure if it did for you. Maybe it's just because you're so used to the Toronto Wolfpack winning by such a large margin as they did almost every game last year. But there was something towards that game there that, I don't know, like I said, kind of thought that there'd be something more coming from it. Now, first of all, kudos to the Barrow Raiders. They played exceptionally well, especially that second half. Yes, they capitalized on a mistake to score their try, but that's what good teams do. And they were able to hold back a very powerful Wolfpack team for their sway. I mean, they limited them to 8 points, which is incredible all in itself. And the Wolfpack last year, and again, different story. They played Barrow Raiders in 2 games and won by a combined 96-4 score. So Barrow, having that on their shoulders, and also this past week, the week before, they faced the London Broncos and lost by a large margin as well. The schedule makers haven't been too kind on the Barrow Raiders. The only team that had to travel to Toronto twice last year, and this year they start off with London, then Toronto comes visit, and next week they have Lee. So a very, very tough schedule to begin, and for them to get a point against Toronto, again, it was a fantastic result. No wonder they were cheering and singing in their locker rooms afterwards. So kudos to them. Now, it wasn't necessarily all bad news for the Wolfpack. They had some stunning performances. Man of the match, Richard Whiting, what a fantastic play he made in terms of it. Saved the game, literally, as the Barrow Raiders tried to drop kick fairly late. And they come out of nowhere like Superman dove and blocked the ball there. So congratulations to Richard Whiting for, again, a phenomenal performance. Andrew Dixon had the opening score. And then one of the new Wolfpack players, Nick Rosthorn. I'm not sure how many Barrow Raiders he went through, but it looked like by the time he finally was able to stretch the ball and place it over the goal line or the try line, there was like 1, 2, 3 players on top of him, and one that he left in the dust there. So again, phenomenal play, and hey, welcome to Toronto. But if there was any controversy in the game itself, not so much controversy, I'd have to go back to the kicking game itself. Not the fact that Barley may have missed the 2 conversions, again, very difficult to do, but in the decision late in the game not to go for a drop kick. Now, for my small circle of friends, yes, I do have friends who follow wrestling as much as I do. It's not this kind of drop kick I'm talking about, but basically, you drop the ball, hits the ground, you kick it through the uprights, and you get a single point. And the reason why I thought they should have gone for it is, again, they've had such a difficult time getting tries all day. Yes, there was a muddy field, but I thought it was probably still the best play to make. Now, who am I to argue with Coach Paul Rowley? I mean, his intelligence is right up to here. My rugby league knowledge is, well, I can't even go as far low as how little my rugby knowledge is. Even after the game itself, he said that it was never even a thought that entered his mind because of the conditions in the goo. You just don't drop the ball, you can never really tell. Again, maybe it's just me. I don't know how you feel. Let me know. Did you think that they should have gone for the kick at the end of the game to try and win it outright? So, again, like I said, left it on a little bit of a note there. Not a disappointing note, but just one of those, kind of thought it was going to be better kind of notes. So we can now go on to the rest of the championship series and see in terms of how the games played out over the weekend. Now, before we actually get to the scores themselves, this is what really got me upset. One of the ideas in terms of putting Wolfcast TV together was to try and give you fans here in Toronto and Rugby League a place to get more information about the other teams. I think if you're a Toronto Wolfpack fan, you become more invested in the game when you know more about the opponent. But I can't believe how hard it's been to actually get any kind of footage to put together to present to you in the kind of way that I thought would be entertaining and informative. So if I have a critique, which I'm sure there's few about Rugby League itself, is what, people, get your act together. We need more information, not less, on the internet. Let's reveal the kind of players that are playing championship. Let's show what Rugby League is about. Yes, the Mud Bowl isn't necessarily the best way to promote the sport, but in some ways it is, right? Because people love the kind of effort in those down and dirty situations. So going to team websites to try and locate information and videos to be able to use, we need more and more of that, especially in the digital age that we're at. So if anybody knows how to get more of these videos so I can help put them together in a nice little way, please let me know. That way we can spread the word of how great Rugby League is and how great Championship is, not just Super League alone. So without further ado, let's find out what some of the scores were. We can start off with Lee Centurions coming back after their defeat to the Wolfpack, and they beat the Batley Bulldogs 34-6. It was Batley's first game out in the championship because they got rained out last week, and so good for them that, not good for them, but good for them that their season started, bad for them in terms of what the score was. We also had London Broncos visiting Dewsbury, and they blanked them 12-0. Featherstone doubled Toulouse 36-18. And Swinton Lions were supposed to host Rockdale, but unfortunately their game got postponed as well. Poor Rockdale. I mean, seriously. First 2 weeks, and both of them have been rained out. So I'm sure they're itching to play. Rockdale fans, I feel for you. I know you want to see your team play. It's coming up shortly. Good luck to them when they do actually start playing. Which leaves one game left, and that was Halifax 30-10 over Sheffield. The reason why I left Halifax to last is because, well, guess what? Who do the Toronto Wolfpack face next week? That's right, the very same Halifax RLFC. And who happens to be on the Halifax team? That's right, Dan Fleming, who, by the way, got a try. He scored a try against Sheffield, and it'd be good to see him against his former mates. Outstanding person, and look forward to seeing him again this weekend coming up. Some of the other games that are coming up this week, Toulouse hosts Sheffield. This is a Saturday game. London is hosting Featherstone. Interesting clash here. Both teams are 2-0. We'll see who's on top of championship by the end of this weekend. Barrow is hosting Lee, as I mentioned before. It's going to be a tough game there. Swinton is hosting Batley. And again, poor Rockdale, they're hosting Dewsbury. Now, the game was supposed to be Sunday, and it too has got postponed, this time not by rain. Unfortunately, I think the Rockdale team, their soccer team, has a match that's drawn up, so they're playing Sunday. If I'm not mistaken, the game has been moved to Monday, February the 19th in the evening. So good luck to them in their first game of the season. And one last thing I'd like to mention, a special shout out for me, the League One round is starting this weekend as well. So they're having their first games of the season. And Coventry Bears always hold a special place in my heart. Shout out to them. Good luck to them. I believe they're playing Doncaster. And if you need to know anything about the Coventry Bears, please listen to Bear Necessities. It's a great podcast, and they have all the information and get you caught up on anything to do with the Coventry Bears, who, by the way, are also celebrating their 20th season. Bravo, people. Bravo. So thank you very much for joining me. Hope you have a great week. Go Wolfpack, go. And hope you have a great game against Halifax. And let there be no more rain. Not really. Really. No more rain.